What up, fellow Kung Fu movie fans? This is Gary Williams from FilmFanDojo.com coming to you with another Film Fan Dojo movie review.
This Film Fan Dojo movie review has been sponsored by Rodney Dennis. Check Rodney out at the IG link below for some of the best fight clips on social media.
Today's movie is this recently released Chinese comedy actioner directed by Stanley Tong, starring Wang Baoqing, Liu Haorong, Ying Mak-tat, and Ni Da-hong, titled The Shaolin Temple, The Legend of Debao.
你是少林传人。
Now, before we go any further, I'm going to apologize for my mispronunciation of Chinese names and terms because I don't speak Chinese, so I'm going to do the best I can. So I apologize in advance for butchering these names. The plot centers around Debao, unscrupulous innkeeper who uses some funny yet nefarious means to get people to come and stay at his inn. His plot is discovered by a mysterious monk, which lead to some very political events happening at his inn and him being framed for the crime. This is a spoiler-free review, so I'm not going to give too much of the plot away, but that's the basic plot of the movie. Also, I saw the movie in Chinese without any subtitles, so some of the subtle nuances that I could not pick up through the physical comedy cues or just inferences and things of that nature, I'm not really that keen on. However, I think that that's the basic gist of the plot, and it is a action comedy, so it takes some of those elements and not taking him seriously, I think is a good thing in this movie. Now we know that Wang Baoqing started training at the Shaolin Temple at the age of 8 after he saw Jet Li's 1982 mega hit, the Shaolin Temple. So this is to me an homage to that Shaolin Temple. It is not a shot-for-shot remake, thank goodness, and the comedy in this I think lightens it up. So it does have its serious moments, but it's lighthearted in a lot of ways, and I think that's good for Wang Baoqing because his face, to me, he just, even when he's the bad guy, he makes me want to laugh, and not in a bad way. He just has these looks, and his face just lends itself to comedy. He's been in part of mega hits such as the Detective Chinatown series, Kung Fu Killer with Donnie Yen playing the main bad guy in that one. The Monk Comes Down the Mountain, and several other films that I think he does an excellent job in. And in Shaolin Temple, the Shaolin Temple Legend of Debao, I think we get to see another side of Wang Baoqing that I've been wanting to see for a while. And that takes us into our next segment. We're talking about the fight scene. The fight scenes in the Shaolin Temple Legend of Debao are very Wushu centered, contemporary Wushu in my estimation, and they have a very Shaolin-esque flavor with some of those main poses that we've seen in other movies. What I did like is not the over-reliance on wires while Wang Baoqing was fighting. There is some wire work, the snatch back, to emphasize the hit, and there is some jumping things where we know it's a wire. That's the convention of kung fu movies, especially modern Chinese movies. But what I like is when he actually fought, the fighting was grounded to a degree. The standout fight scenes for me are the fight that he does in the gambling house against many soldiers and one of the bad guys. And it shows his Shaolin Temple training. I mean, Wang Baoqing, as well as his character Debao, Shaolin training with some Shaolin poses that he does. After he hits, he goes back into a certain stance and things that us Kung Fu movie fans will recognize as a Shaolin type of pose. And so I really think that did good. The use of a wide angle Stanley Tong uses, so we get to see Wang Baoqing in his Wushu glory and pulling out some great Wushu moves. And I did like the emphasis on when he hit, it was an emphasis on him hitting. It wasn't just this flowery looking stuff that looks, you know, many times in these movies, especially the mainland Chinese productions and everything. For me, the hits look a little too flowery. I mean, they don't look like they could do any damage. And in this one, he has some hits, and the kicks look like they could really do damage, and it's a great timing with the yanking of the wire to pull the actors back, the right amount of powder, not that overly powdery stuff that sometimes is like, okay, that's too much powder, but just the right amount of powder and the timing and the editing of the hit and everything. And Wang Baoqing's strong Wushu background, he was able to hold those stances and hold his arms in a certain position to really emphasize the hits. I thought that was well, and of course, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about I call it the homage training sequence that Debao, portrayed by Wang Baoqing, does in the cave, similar to Jet Li's Shaolin Temple, where he's training, and we know that it was filmed in the Shaw Brothers backlot, but he's training through the various seasons to perfect his Kung Fu or his Wushu. I thought this was excellent. We get some of the same Wushu techniques, some of the same poses, some of the same staff work, spear work, and he changes outfits, you know, to mimic the seasons changing inside of this cave. And I think that was a beautiful homage to Jet Li's Shaolin Temple, and we could tell the obvious love that Wang Baoqing has for this movie. You know, I was speaking with someone briefly, and they were very worried about the Stanley Tong direction of this movie, and I thought it was incredibly restrained for a Stanley Tong movie. So I think the comedic nature and the subject matter being Wushu or old school martial arts, you still get some of the Stanley Tong emphasis on some stunt work, you know, with the actors flying and busting through tables and different fight scenes, but it's a restrained Stanley Tong, which I think is great for this type of film. So I was very impressed with Wang Baoqing. We know his Wushu background, his training, but he was able to showcase more of what he can do, being the protagonist in this movie, using his actual Shaolin Wushu that he trained in, so that was excellent. Overall, I think the Shaolin Temple Legend of Debao is a good film. It's a feel-good film in some ways, and because, like I said before, because it is an action comedy, I think it does well for this film. So don't go in expecting a shot-for-shot remake of Jet Li's 1982 classic, The Shaolin Temple. What you're getting is an homage, a love letter, and I really enjoyed this film. When I saw the trailer and everything, I was a little excited, but then I'm thinking, I don't know, I might not enjoy this film for whatever reason. I don't know. Some of the recent Chinese productions in the martial arts aspect have left a very bad taste in my mouth for my taste. This was not the case. I was pleasantly surprised. I was really enjoying this film. I was very entertained, and I think Wang Baoqing and the rest of the cast did a great job. But it's definitely an homage, a love letter to Shaolin Temple. So I'm going to give it 4 stars. I think if you can see this movie, see it. It's not, I wouldn't put it in a classic realm, but I think it's a good showcase for Wang Baoqing and his skill set. And I think it's a good homage to the Shaolin Temple, some 30-something years, you know, after it was released. I think it's released in '82, so that would be, my math is off, but 29 years, 30 years after it's released. I think it's well timed. I think it's good. And if you have a chance, go check out the Shaolin Temple, The Legend of Debao, starring Wang, Baoqing, Liu Haorong, Maktat, and others. Directed by Stanley, Tong. Again, this is Gary Williams from FilmFanDojo.com with another movie review. Signing off.
This Film Fan Dojo movie review has been sponsored by Rodney Dennis. Check Rodney out at the IG link below for some of the best fight clips on social media.